Tonight ahead on 12 News, a devastating fire and a Brooklyn Park firefighter who wanted to do something about it. Plus, some of the finest custom-built homes of the Twin Cities will take you inside one of them on the Artisan Home Tour.
Tater Daze turns 50 this year. We're live in Brooklyn Park to tell you all about it. 12 News starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Johnson. A Brooklyn Park firefighter is not only putting out fires, he's helping victims get back on their feet.
On June 5th, a fire destroyed a home in Oak Grove, just north of the Twin Cities. Firefighter Chris Borse says he just had to do something to help. Here's reporter Sonia Goins.
So this is my home station. This is Brooklyn Park Station 4.
Chris Borst has been a Brooklyn Park firefighter for 8 years.
I am a firefighter EMT.
He knows at any minute he might be called to put his life on the line.
Our job is to, protect the life and property of others. When you get paged out, it'll come out as, confirmed house fire. So you know what you're going to, where you're going.
Borst wasn't called to help out on the Oak Grove fire on June 5th, but it hit close to home.
Remember the day, remember seeing it on the news, something that I'm, sadly all too familiar with.
The home on the 22,000 block of Zion Park went up in flames quickly.
You see something like that and it's tough, Typically when we get to a fire, it's in the early stages, and it's, just seeing it kind of like that just kind of shocks you.
The family, including 4 children, were not at home at the time, but their pets were. 4 dogs, 3 cats, and 1 guinea pig didn't make it out. The home burned to the ground.
Hits close to home and, definitely something that we wanted to help with.
Borst decided to help the family get on their feet by raising funds through his estate sales business.
There are things that are obviously irreplaceable, but the things that can be replaced is what I deal in.
He says it was the perfect opportunity to do something for the victims of tragedy.
This is something that we had actually talked about a year ago, trying to maybe put together something where in situations like this, that we could, maybe set aside some stuff.
He says the response from the community has been great.
Within hours after we put something out there saying this is what we want to do, all the positive feedback.
He also says it feels good to do good.
Fits together perfectly, so time to step up and help them out.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Borst is holding a silent auction on June 28th to help the family. We will have more details on our website, 12.tv.
The U.S. Secret Service is investigating a data breach that impacted P.F. Chang's restaurants. P.F. Chang's is a location in Maple Grove, though it's unclear yet which stores were impacted. The restaurant chain is using manual credit card readers to process payments while the investigation continues. Well, some call it art, others call it vandalism.
Whatever your view is on graffiti, it is against the law. Recent reports show the number of graffiti incidents has dropped in Minneapolis. We sent Delane Cleveland out to see how prevalent it is in the suburbs.
So it's something we see from time to time.
Whether it be on a picnic table at a park in Robbinsdale,
Seems to be mainly kids goofing around.
or under a bridge near train tracks in Golden Valley,
Anywhere that's visible is where you're going to find it.
graffiti is a property crime that affects the neighborhood's overall quality of life.
Nobody wants to go to their local park and see graffiti in the park or see it on their street out in front of their house.
Robbinsdale Police Chief Jim Franzen says the city has been fortunate not to have too many graffiti cases.
So far, we've been pretty fortunate. I don't think there's any city that escapes graffiti. It can happen anywhere, anytime.
He says when graffiti does turn up in Robbinsdale, it's usually relegated to parks and overpasses.
Maybe we can attribute it to people watching, which we encourage people to do in Robbinsdale.
Anything that is found on public property is removed by the Public Works Department with power washers.
The goal is to get it cleaned up as soon as possible.
In Minneapolis, where graffiti is more prevalent, all of the fire stations offer free bottles of graffiti removal solvent for anyone who asks.
It's a shame that people would deface property, but fortunately they can come to us and not have to pay for the service.
The city recommends using it to remove graffiti from unpainted surfaces. The solution just requires a couple of sprays, a brush to spread it around, and in a matter of seconds, faded graffiti. It's a useful tool to clean up the work left behind by spray-happy vandals. Yet even police admit there's little that can be done to prevent it.
But if they see it, they should report it so we can at least investigate it.
Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Experts say there are ways to make your property less of a target for graffiti, and for a complete list, you can go to 12.tv. There is a new face on the Osseo City Council. Businessman Dan Spanier was sworn into office this week. Spanier has run twice before for Osseo City Council and also served on the city's Economic Development Authority. Spanier fills a seat left vacant by the resignation of council member Bonnie Heinen. The seat will be up for re-election in November. It's been 50 years since Brooklyn Park first celebrated its potato farming history with a festival.
The festival has changed quite a bit in half a century. 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton is out at the festival now to see what's happening this year. Shannon?
Hi guys, 50 years ago if you came out to Tater Daze, you could have flown a kite, played some games, even danced in the Tater Mash dance. A few things have changed, some things haven't. Here to tell us all about it, Mark Wendt. We have him on top of the fun slide. You're not afraid of heights, are you?
Well, thanks for helping me get over
Not
that.
anymore, right?
Not anymore.
What do you guys have going on new here at Tater Daze this year?
Well, I tell you, being the 50th anniversary, we've added a lot of events this year. We've put everything into it this year. The kids events, we've got our petting zoo, and we've got acts all weekend happening. There's a children's parade this evening. We have a talent show happening this evening. There's just all kinds of family activities happening, and the stage is just loaded. We have the 11 bands playing this weekend with over 145 people hitting the stage and performing. So there's something for everybody.
And I know Diversity Fest has really grown. You guys have a space for that tomorrow?
Yes, we do. From 3 to 8 o'clock tomorrow. There's just fabulous food from all over the world. It's definitely worth the trip.
And I know everybody's wondering about the weather, chance of storms tomorrow. What are you telling folks?
Well, you know, I don't plan my weekends by the weather anymore. But if it does rain a little bit, we have shelters, we have tents all over, we have emergency plans. So come on out and enjoy a Minnesota summer.
All right, cross our fingers and hope for the best, right?
There we go.
All right, thanks Mark Wendt for joining us on top of the fun slide here in Brooklyn Park. The parade rolls tomorrow at 11:30. We'll see you there. Mike and Alex.
All right, thank you very much, Shannon. Big 50th anniversary.
Take a ride on that slide.
That's right. Straight ahead, we take you inside a Maple Grove home on the Artisan home tour.
And then a little bit later in sports, a great battle between Wayzata and Eden Prairie in the state boys lacrosse semifinals.
But first, some ill-timed storms brewing on this Tater Daze weekend. Well, if you've ever wanted to peek inside a $1 million home, here's your chance.
The Artisan Home Tour is underway, featuring 25 brand new luxury homes. A couple of them are located right here in the Northwest Metro. 12 News reporter Chris Wyant has more in Weekend Showcase.
The views are beautiful with woods in the distance, a nice private setting while still being in a beautiful family neighborhood.
Realtor Eric Myron says there's lots to learn on this tour of a $1.4 million luxury home he just sold in Maple Grove.
To see what the latest trends are, to see what the latest architecture is, interior design, furnishings, colors.
This home, built by Creek Hill Custom Homes, features detailed stonework on the exterior, a great room with enormous windows for natural light, a state-of-the-art gourmet kitchen, full bar, 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and an indoor sport court.
The sport court's appealing because it's 12 months a year, it's 24 hours a day. With the winter we just had in particular, it's wonderful to have a place for the kids to go and burn off energy.
This lovely home is showcased on the Artisan Home Tour this weekend.
There are a handful of people out looking for builders, looking for homes, but a lot of the people are coming through looking for design ideas.
In addition to fine custom craftsmanship in each room, homes on the tour also feature some of the latest technological advances.
So from your iPad mini or from your smartphone, you run all the TVs in the house, all the audio in the house, the lighting, the heating, the cooling, the security.
A portion of ticket proceeds from the tour goes into a foundation set up by the Builders Association of the Twin Cities, a charitable foundation to help families in need find affordable housing. For Weekend Showcase, Carissa Wyant, 12 News.
Tickets for the tour are $25 and can be purchased online. We do have more information on our website at 12.tv. There's more to come at Tater Daze still ahead, including a taste of the music.
But first in sports, a close game between Armstrong and Eden Prairie in the state baseball tournament. John Jacobson with the highlights next. Armstrong makes it to the state baseball tournament and then runs into a pretty good team.
Pretty good team.
But a close game, too.
A very close game, yeah. They played a tough team and a tough game, but they come up a little bit short. Armstrong's baseball team played very well down the stretch after a slow start this spring. The Falcons started state tournament play and lacing them up to face Eden Prairie in the quarterfinals. Tied 1-1 on the third when Eden Prairie's Jeff Athey smacks a single to right field to score a run at the start of a big inning for the Eagles. Next batter, Aaron Kerber drives a long fly ball to right center, and this one drops down for a hit. Jack Sullivan and Athey score on the triple to make it 4-1. They add one more and a ground out for a 5-1 lead. Jordan Kuznia and the Falcons battle back. Kuznia drives one over the right fielder's head in the top of the fourth. That scores Matt Bachmeyer, and it's 5-2. After another Armstrong run, Eden Prairie makes a key defensive play. Jack Westner's tapper's throw to first, then the throw back home. The pitcher Corey Binger gets Mike Arnost and completes a double play. Big play there in the game. Falcons pull within a run in the fifth. Bachmeyer's liner off the left fielder's glove and down. But the rally falls short and a 5-4 loss. Armstrong lost to Mahtomedi in consolation play Friday. The state lacrosse tournament wraps up Saturday. The Wayzata boys were aiming for a spot in the championship game as they faced Lake Conference rival Eden Prairie in the semis. Tied at 1-1 when Brian Mahout gets by the defender and fires a shot home to put the Trojans in front 2-1. Eden Prairie gets the next three. Charlie Venable sets it up, drawing the defender and finding Nick Perkins for the goal, and that's 4-2 after one. Second quarter, Venable passes to J.D. Spielman. He lines up a rocket of a shot for a 6-3 Eagles lead. Right before halftime, Wayzata gets one. Grant Long gets enough room and fires a shot, and it pulls the Trojans within 7-5 at halftime. Wayzata starts to take the momentum in the third quarter. Max Stecker finds Long, and he unleashes a cannon shot, and the Trojans are within 7-6. And they tied up. Stecker from behind the net feeds Charlie Shermack for the goal. Great game. It's 7-7 after three. No scoring in the fourth, and it goes to overtime. Watch Spielman get up off the turf and get a shot away for the goal. Eden Prairie wins 8-7 to advance to the final. Wayzata will play Saturday for third place. All three local girls lacrosse teams lost in the quarterfinal round. Two of them, Armstrong and Champlin Park, met up in consolation play. With less than 30 seconds left in the first half, Mari Verbaten's goal ties it at 6 for Armstrong. Second half, Amy Master to Kelsey Osdick. Her goal gives the Falcons a 9-6 lead. Verbaten scores again from the free position, her fourth goal of the game. The Rebels rally back. Hannah Krimble's goal here makes it 10-9. The Falcons hold on. They win 10-9, move into the consolation finals Saturday afternoon. Also in consolation play, Maple Grove facing Lakeville South. It's all Cougars in this one. Logan Halverson with a spin move around the defender scores one of her 5 goals. Halverson sets up Maddie Canny here. She scored 6 goals in the game. Crimson lose big, 14-2 Lakeville South, the final. Fishing line is a key factor for angler success during the open water season. Terry Tuma has more on this week's Channel 12 fishing tip.
Fishing line is extremely confusing to several anglers, no matter what species that they're pursuing in the summertime, open water fishing. And the reason being is that there's so many different products out on the market. And I just done a seminar, and of all the questions, it was fishing line, fishing line, fishing line after the conclusion of the seminar. And I visited with a friend of mine that was just in South Dakota. He was catching the walleyes, while the other 2 anglers in the boat weren't doing very well at all. And it boiled down to the wrong line. And let's just sort of briefly go over some of these lines that we're speaking of. And one, of course, is your fluorocarbon, becoming extremely popular. Fluorocarbon sinks. Fluorocarbon doesn't have a lot of stretch, so we want to use fluorocarbon for casting crankbaits, for instance, using it for leader material, and then also of plastics like wacky worms for bass fishing. The next is sort of a sensation. This is, I call it an in-between line. Has some stretch, extremely thin in diameter, and will pick up these real subtle bites no matter what species we're fishing. And then, of course, you've got your braid, which is, I don't want to say a new rate, but it's becoming extremely popular. Braid does not sink and it does not stretch, so we're going to have to use specific applications for using a braided line. You can also attach a fluorocarbon leader to it. There's several knots that you can utilize for that. And then, of course, the old standby is your mono line, and which, again, mono line has stretch to it. It does float, however, but it works extremely well. I use it for casting crankbaits, for instance. I use it for jig fishing for walleyes, and the reason I use it for both is that many times the stretch factor is very, very important. Otherwise, what happens is the fish are going to come off. And then, two, use green line in most of the fishing conditions. You want to use clear line in ultra water or ultra clear conditions and try to match those kind of conditions, and then you're going to be successful. But line is a big plus factor in catching fish today. There's no question about it whatsoever. Be sure to tune next week right here. Have a great week on the water.
Thanks, Terry. And Terry's back to his regular Thursday time slot next week.
All right, thanks, John. Still ahead, we're ready to rock at Tater Daze.
Meet one of the prize-winning bands when we come back.
There's no shortage of music at Tater Daze, from a 1950s band to a blues fest.
And on Saturday afternoon, though, it'll be teenagers rocking the spud. We caught up with a band that's already won Tater Daze competitions in years past, and they call themselves Let Yourself Go.
We are Let Yourself Go.
Thanks.
We're like a pop punk band. We like to compare ourselves to the likes of Fall Out Boy and All Time Low, Newfound Glory, that sort of thing. We would collectively write each song. It's definitely a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing it.
It's got a lot of energy. It's a lot about crowd involvement. Especially as like a singer, I like to get people involved, hand claps, singing back the lyrics.
A lot of our songs are very introspective things about me as a person or as us as a group and where we're going and kind of figuring everything out as we grow up. And there's some songs about girls, of course, but.
Just got back from a tour that went all the way out to New York and came back. So we've played at a bunch of different places all across the United States.
I'd love to be able to just tour for the rest of my life with these guys. They are my best friends.
When you get a good crowd, I mean, it's absolutely amazing, and there's literally nowhere else you'd rather be.
Talk about high energy in a basement practice session. The teen bands play at 4:30 Saturday at Tater Daze. As we say goodbye, we go back to a live look at the Tater Daze grounds. They'll be getting going any minute now, and that's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us.
Have a great weekend.